condolences to the Barnett and to the Calendar family. A beautiful time was had. The celebration of life was most definitely done. And the only two things I can say in that respect is honor thy mother and father, so their days in this earth will be long. Okay, honor the people who brought us come into this here dance. But outside of that, man, glad to be here. Another busy week, sibling. Blink and you miss it. It's almost, again, like I keep on saying, it was like yesterday we did that epic 4 hour build.
Yeah, factual. And it was epic indeed. I listened back. Yeah, man, I listened back. It was I like those kind of conversations, man.
Yeah.
And you missed it as well. There was some afterthoughts on that where Mike T, big up Mike T, long-time Patreon,
Yes.
sent a picture of like 2 moons in the sky.
Yes.
In Belgium,
yes.
this was. So
Yes.
yeah, man, that talk there. A lot of people like that kind of talk there. It's, you know how it goes with that kind of.
I think to be fair, Mark, we should have that kind of, not that type or that style discussion at least once a month, man. We should block something off, pick a topic, and just go in, because it's cool to obviously break down what's going on headline wise, but just to have those more abstract, extrapolated conversations, man. It's just lightens things up and gives people a different side to how we normally come.
That's essentially what we're doing today. This ain't no headline topic, none of that. This is straight from the people, and obviously the people feel this. A lot of people feel this way, so we're gonna break this thing down, man, all the way down.
Yes.
So people, you already know what it is with the Saturday stream. People are getting involved. If you're not involved, jump in there. Like, this is gonna be a very active chat. So Green Lantern started by saying, "I'm half African and half Caribbean. I married a Caribbean woman, and now I regret getting married. The culture for British Caribbeans is too damaged. Her parents are married for over 30 years, but she has 3 sisters. 2 are single moms to white men. My mom, who is African, disowned me and never came to my wedding for marrying a Caribbean. Have I effed up my life?" That's the first piece, That's so noble. Hold on, because this is your noble stuff, really,
Yes.
So hold that. So I says, what part is your African side? So Green Lantern says Kenya, and the sad part is I know the same thing with Nigerians, Ghanaians. My dad married and stayed married. He died 15 years ago, and my mom pretty much bashed Caribbeans throughout my youth. Wow.
Yeah.
But went crazy when I married one. Dude, I can't stress this enough. Many Africans are Caribbeans. I'm guessing he's saying many Africans see Caribbeans as trash. They'll use you for the green card or visa or money, then disrespect your people. They want to get as close to Indians and whites as possible. They don't see Caribbeans as their people at all. I can see no British Caribbean marriages. I see no community. All I see is crime, poverty, single moms, and damaged people with no aims or direction. I'm saying how I see it. And if I look at the next generation, it's even worse.
It is.
All right, there's still more, but there's still quite a lot more, Hold on. There's still quite a lot more. All these Indian, English, Africans all clanging up. How can a Caribbean kid navigate that? No support network. Dude, it looks like we arrived yesterday into the country.
Yeah.
Because we have no infrastructure and we don't even have the unity or work ethic like the new immigrants. You want me to keep going, Noble? This keeps going, All right, let's keep this thing rolling. Every positive metric, like top grades, marriage rates, we're at the bottom. At everything bad, like STDs, benefit usage, exclusion rates, and single moms, we are at the top. All we have to show is our presence in the UK. No, sorry. All we have to show our presence in the UK are biracial people. You tell me where I'm lying. Okay. Big up T, because I don't know if T did. I don't want to say people's name because Green Lantern, that's obviously not your real name. But T, I'm not going to say your name. But T said, it's all by design. We were not brought here to become their equals. So instructions were put in place to ensure that doesn't happen. All right. Now, the last thing Green Lantern said was, did you hear that a British Caribbean man has been arrested for shooting the 8-year-old girl?
In London?
In London, yeah. The last two sentences. So in replying to Tony, Green Lantern said, Tony, I think you give these men too much power. They have the same brain and 24 hours in a day we have, and have ears and eyes to see. We could have navigated it better like the Asians. Okay, today the table's been set, Noble. So Green Lantern is very, very he's brought forth some very serious points. So yes. I believe we follow the natural order of the points brought forth. Now, it's a sad situation where I'm at the point where I can't disagree with a lot of what he says, but the picture is a lot bigger than that. So let's first get into the marriage situation that Green Lantern had mentioned. Now, I know exactly how you feel, Green Lantern, because I've mentioned it before, but when I was younger, I knew this Ghanaian girl, dark like me. She was very thick set, cultured, all of that. I liked her a lot. You know, she looked good, and she was very what's the word? She was cultured, but it was just somebody I believe like, yo, you could definitely build a future with that person. Now, the parents of the girl had a different thought than that. They almost looked. Matter of fact, I want to get this right because this is a very serious topic, you know. So I knew this British Ghanaian girl. She was first generation. Her parents were born in Ghana. Now she had all the attributes of, you know, a British Ghanaian girl. Very thick set, very dark skinned. You know, she was beautiful, man. Now, this is the first time I realized there was an issue, you know, Noble. The parents, they were not on it at all. They were not on it. They wanted her to find somebody from the continent. It wasn't even a situation where it was a Ghanaian man, as long as it wasn't a Caribbean man. And I remember thinking to myself, hold on a second. You mean to tell me, yeah, that I've been having problems with all these white folk since a youth, and now you guys are now on the side of, you know, you're not treating us as equals? Mm-hmm. And I remember asking her, saying, yo, what is your father's problem with me? And what it was about, Noble, is he had this notion that men that were specifically from a Jamaican lineage mistreat women. He just really believed that she would end up as a single mom, weren't going to marry her, you know what I mean? And it was like, it was a bad idea. And I remember just feeling so disgusted. Like, I just felt disgusted that how dare you stereotype my people?
Yes.
And the facts are, people, you know, I don't like to promote this type of division, but this is a topic we're having today. When I went to Africa, I seen it, Noble. You know, they almost bunched me and Stephen in with the white people. Like, you wouldn't think we were coming back to the continent. You get what I'm saying? Like, yes. We were coming back, like, to say, yo, we here, we home.
Home, yeah.
And it was almost a situation like, you're not like us, almost.
No, almost. That's exactly, unfortunately, a large percentage of our continental brethren and sisters have that mindset. The diaspora is the diaspora. My African brethren and sisters, please correct me if I'm incorrect, but I know of a term called akata or kata, pardon self, which is a derogatory term directed at the diaspora, the Caribbeans, this specifically, which is a derogatory term meaning don't know where you're coming from or lost the owner or something to that, you know what I mean, sentiment. Yeah. So it's unfortunate, man. It's hella unfortunate.
It is. It most definitely is. And what I realize is this, that from early out, I realized that, yo, we're not equal. So I didn't look for love outside of our immediate community. Now, I know a lot of man will say, nah, you can't say that, A, B, or C, but I just didn't look for love outside of a British Caribbean person. You see what I'm saying, Noble? Because I was like, least we have traveled the same journey together, but I can't be with somebody where your family and your parents feel like we're less than. Now, we're going to get into all the stereotypical views and all that in a minute. But me personally, how I overcome that, I said, you know what? The best way to do it is just be with someone who's cut from the same cloth. There's enough women between Jamaica and the UK that a man must confine a wife. That's just how I look at it. Does it? You know what I mean? Like, even if it's a thing where you say, "Yo, I'm not really feeling how they're moving in the UK," and you gotta travel back, then
Yes.
I'm guaranteeing you're gonna find a wife. We can shake on it. But when you go outside of the community, yeah, there are people who look down on us, and this is why every week on Express Truth we bring these discussions, because when one person does something from a community, that person is representative of the community. So when a man's having children and he's not minding them, or he's publicly making weird comments online towards black women, or etc., that is where stereotypes come from. Because like I said, this Ghanaian girl's dad had it in his mind that all black men of a Jamaican lineage would not treat his daughter right. He truly believed that, Noble. Come through, man, because we got a lot to go into.
We do. Let me just go where you are now. Let me stay where you are in the present.
Yeah, man.
Think about your experience. Let me do the righteous advocate before I fully dissect the thing. Think of your experience with that young lady and her parents. And you said, based upon my experience, I would have liked to have, potentially got married, courted, got married to a Ghanaian sister, etc. But how I was treated leads me to say, no, I have to stay within specifically not any other island, but Jamaica, and they've got to be either there living or here now as a Jamaican British, as a black British person. So your experiences has led you to that. So his experiences, and I would say his lack of experiences and interactions with upright, specifically Jamaican Caribbeans in Britain, are so limited that all he is seeing is the negative. He's seeing the media in all of its guises showing and portraying Jamaicans to be whatless, to be worthless, to be criminals, to not want to look after their people, to just be marauders throughout the community. And then he will see lost, helpless Jamaicans falling into that stereotype, who are the minority, but the magnifying glass is put onto them to show them as the majority.
Real talk. And this is why I say, first of all, let's really layer this thing up now. So let's take it from an origin story. Yeah. First of all, you gotta understand this, and this is where the excuses will stop. And it's not an excuse, but there's a lot that hindered the growth of the Caribbean community in the UK. There's a lot. And what I mean by that is, first and foremost, yeah, I don't believe there was no clear plan laid out when our elders got here. And I asked this question last week. And what I meant by that is, what was the majority's plan? Now, for the elders that I've spoke to, yeah, their plan was to come here, make money, and then go back to their respective islands. I was actually talking to a lovely elder from Trinidad yesterday who lives in the UK. And, she got here and she's been here about 30 years now. And she done well here and decided not to go back. Now, with that, what happened is the disconnect started. And what I mean by the disconnect is people were disconnected from their roots, from their island. So we came here with traditions, morals. We came here with a plan. Those plans were lost very early out. And what I mean by that is, think about your mom's name. Think about your auntie's names. Yeah, think about what our grandparents named that generation of people. Very English names. Yeah, think about it, Noble. Look at the names they gave them. So let me just give you two names from either side of my family. So I'm going to give you two names. So on my mom's side, my mom's name is Paulette. Yeah, then I'll name one of my aunties, Dorothy. Yeah, then go on to my dad's side. One of my dad's sisters are called Christine. And then he's got another sister that's called Brenda. Now think about these names. They're very English names. And the reason why they're very English names is because our grandparents wanted to name them very English names in line with the Commonwealth, making things easier for them in school and all of this. Then
Mark,
number two,
go to.
What
What else would they have named them?
Okay, so you had other sets of people who were calling their children like Ruben.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like Delroy, names like
Oh God.
Leroy, names that were, let's keep it real, associated with black people. But so if you think back in the day, yeah, in them early days, I'm talking before our time. There's even jokes on like the real McCoy and all of that, where a man's like, "Yo, where you from?" And a man be like, "Yo, I'm from Brixton." He's like, "Ah, you know my brethren Leroy." So what I'm saying is, we were very, very in line with being English. A lot of men wanted to be English. Now, I'm not saying my family. I'm saying as a community, we wanted to fit in. Yeah?
Let me
We
add
want.
one more.
Come
Let
on,
me add
come
one
true,
more.
come true.
Just think if we were colonized by the Dutch, then
Yeah.
our name be Dutch influenced, and we wouldn't even. Well, we would speak English because the Dutch islands, the Dutch Antilles, their territories, they speak Dutch, they speak English, and then they'll speak their own. I know a brother who can speak 5 languages.
Yeah, man, there's a lot of
Works for them.
bros, mans around like that who have traveled around.
Mhm.
Now, what happened is this, people. Remember, I'm still at the elders. Today, the stream's going to be educational. So, what happened was those elders wanted to fit in. So, first of all, what they named the children was to fit in. Like, we can say what we want, Commonwealth, A, B, or C. We had our own identity back home, but they wanted to fit in. So, with that being said, when they got here, they understood that that racism was here. They knew they weren't equal, but they wanted to fit in, so they put up with it. Now, this is no disrespect to no one, but they wanted to fit in, and they're like, yo, we're guests in this house, so we'll put up with it. Hopefully, our children don't have to. So they encouraged them to do jobs like nursing, teacher. You see what I'm saying? Jobs, government jobs that guarantee a guaranteed income, because they just wanted stability. So think about it. What was success in them days? One sec, no, you come through in a sec. One sec, I'm going to say this last thing. What was success in them days? A man had a stable job. He could pay his bills and eventually own his home. That was the goal. That was it. Come through, Noble. People, we're going to break this down layer by layer. Come through, Noble.
What else was there? No, not what else. Let's go this way. So you're right. You're 100% correct. And the idea in regards to getting that stable job and purchase that home for 6,000, 3,000, whatever them kind of prices back then, 50s, 60s. But remember why our foreparents were invited to Great Britain, Mark. They had just had a physical skirmish with their brethren across the pond.
Of course.
Yeah, they were bombing the hell out of London, Brum, Castle Vale. Yeah, Small Heath. We were getting bombed. Yeah, England, the Great Britain, where the sun don't set, where the Commonwealth ain't. They needed help. They sent their poor people them off to war, and they died, sibling.
Real
They damn
talk.
died. You know what I mean? They were decimated. They brought us, sibling, and the East Indians, the Asian brethren, yeah? They said, you're in this Commonwealth. You've got expertise, man. We see the bright sparks over there because we've been over there for how many years, putting our foot on your neck. We need help. SOS. Come over here. Look after our children. Help us in the hospitals. Clean these streets. Be on the buses. Yeah? Help us do the thizzle wiggle. You know, we need to survive. We need to survive as a country. Without you guys, specifically you West Indians and you East Indians, we're gonna perish. We will not rebuild.
Wait, Zulia, take time, man. We're building this layer by layer. We're gonna get to all of that stuff, but we have to understand the process of how we got here. A lot of men don't know the history. A lot of men just don't know the journey. Man think they just woke up one day in the UK and that was it. They don't know the history. Now, I'm warming up. I'm just warming up. Now, I've said names, so we wanted to integrate. B, Noble just explained why we first come here, the war. C, we wanted stability. We wanted stable jobs. A man wanted to be able to pay his bills comfortably. But one of the number one mistakes that the elders made, because we're going to go to each generation and explain how we got to where we are today. one of the biggest mistakes that the elders made is encouraging the disconnect between here and your homeland. You know how much man I have met who are fully disconnected from their roots. They don't know nothing about their roots, nothing. They don't eat the food that comes from their place. They don't listen to the music, or they have nothing in common with their place of origin. Nothing. They don't go, when it's time to go on holiday, man's are going Ibiza, Dubai. Man's don't even go, they don't even know where their people came from. To me, that is absolutely crazy. Now, one thing that I'm thankful for is that as a youngster, the linguistics that my dad would talk would always be like, back home, in yard, if this was in yard, if we were in yard, when we go to yard. It was always about, like, you're always hearing about somewhere else. You see what I'm saying? Like, even though I've opened my eyes and I'm here, you knew to yourself that somehow we're connected to that place. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. But then when I went to public places like school and that, and then like, you said to a man, like, where you from? Yeah, I'm from England. What?
Get the fuck out of here, man. Please. Please, get the fuck out of here, man.
I'm a realist. So even with that situation with Ngozi Fanani, anywhere I go in this world, people always ask me, where you from?
Come on.
I always tell them, I live in England, I'm born in England, but I'm from Jamaica. Because that's what they're really asking you. Now, a lot of people started to believe, which is why I came up with words like the indigenous on the show. That, you know how that rubs people the wrong way? You know how much people get mad? No, we were here in the 1930s. I'm like, listen, no. You're not indigenous to this thing. Now, let's get back into this. So the elders came, they wanted to integrate, they integrated. Now, what we didn't do is we didn't put enough emphasis on the importance of the family structure. That's where I'm going to start. So this is where it starts for me. The second generation that grew up here, they're the one, that is where a lot of our issues started. Because that is where we lost the family structure. Now, what I mean by that is, when I was growing up, Noble, things were just said openly that could not be said in today's world. Like let's keep this thing 1,000. Things like integration when I was growing up was not normal. When I was in school, man would be like, yo, my man's a bounty, ABOC. All of that went out the window.
Elaborate. What do you mean by integration? Because for me, before I pass you the ball, man. Saying that my man's a bounty, that, well, two ways we would say that. That means my man, or the system generally, it's going to be the brethren, is checking for white girl. Yeah, so my man is a bounty. Or we have someone who was maybe not raised in an inner city area, who enunciates and articulates himself very well and doesn't conduct himself how we potentially.
No, not that. I can stop you right there. Not the latter.
Okay.
Bounty as in.
Yes.
Love is blind. Now, what I'm trying to say to you is, when I was younger, I'm going to go back old school. It's when I was in primary school. The class consisted of 3 people of color, me, a mixed race individual, and an Indian individual. Now, the Indian individual, he didn't even need to talk. There was no there was zero integration going to happen. Shout out Tanvia. He didn't even need to talk. It was normal. Now, what I'm saying to you is, in our world, it's almost like we believe that because of the decisions that the elders made and whatever went wrong with the first generation, we somehow believe that we are part of the furniture here. So based on that, we expected, this is how a lot of men were failed. We expected equal rights. I'm not saying it's wrong to expect it, but reality is another thing. We expected equal rights. We thought that this place is ours. We believe that we're indigenous. With that belief, people make decisions that they wouldn't make if they didn't have that belief. So I used to go into things as a child knowing I was different from other men. You see where I'm coming from, Noble? Or you want me to elaborate?
No, I do. You want me to add something?
Yeah, man, let's go.
So, depending on the age, give me an age range where you're talking. We're talking when you went to we're talking primary school, right?
Listen, from year 3, when I was lined up as a criminal, and I remember that my boy my boy Tears, my baby boy Tears, didn't even move the headmaster.
Yeah.
At that moment, I realized, yo, I'm different from these folks. No one could have taught me that. And from that moment onwards, I realized, yo, I'm not gonna get a fair nothing, because this is in primary school.
No, forget. Okay, no, that's
Yeah.
right. That's right. But in regards to